There we go. Yeah.
Well, hi guys. This is David Gomm in the Stained Glass Studio, and if you're a regular viewer of ours, then you've already seen this window as we were constructing it. This is the window with all the mirrored back pieces, and if you look really carefully down along here, you'll be able to see all the different heights of the glass. And you can see that some are high and some are low. And so this one's going to present a little bit of a challenge because it's not going to be quite the same as any normal soldering project. So one of the things I'm going to do is start with a fresh iron. We recommend that you take your iron, that when you get it going, you take the tip out of the iron every time you get done with it so that it doesn't get corroded and frozen. But saying it and doing it are two different things, and so I'm going to try really hard to do that every single time with this one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a label right here, and I'm going to write the date down so that I will try, maybe that'll help me to remember, and that'll tell me how long this iron really lasts. They come with a little Allen key wrench, which I just dropped on the floor. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and start up with this fresh iron. Now the reason I want a fresh tip on this project is that I'm going to have to come up and across. I'm going to have to pull solder up this way, and I pull it across this way. And so I'm going to have a really good tip. So the iron is heating, and I'm going to go ahead and get some flux on here. This is just a regular liquid flux. I'm just going around this particular part right here. Okay, so I've gotten just around here with the flux. The reason I only want to do that much is because there were a couple of pieces that got knocked out of alignment over here, and I don't want to have to go through and align everything all at once. I know this window fits. We've had it fitting before, and so now I'm just going to start tacking a little bit, and I put it up close to my cheek to see if it's warm, and I can feel the warmth, but I don't, I know it's not hot enough. The color of the tip will change a little bit once it gets up to the right temperature. You see it's just silver right now. Now this is a copper tip that is coated with solder. That's why it looks silver. But the nature of tips is that they are copper. And you can see the color right here is changing a little bit. And it is hot enough to melt. So I'm going to just now right now I'm just tacking it. So it's a lot like any other soldering project. And as a matter of fact, right here, all of these 4 pieces of glass are the same height. So it is just like normal. Okay, now I'm going to tack this spot right over here. I believe that the client is going to have a wooden frame put around this piece. So there won't be metal put around it, which is good because that would be difficult. Now you see, I'm bringing the solder along the piece of glass, and now I'm going to kind of pull it up a little bit. And I'm not happy with how much flux I have here, so I'm going to add a little more. Now see, if I just leave it, it'll slump down. So what I'm doing here now is I'm pulling it up. See how I heat it and then I pull it up. And that gets it filled down below. So it is somewhat smooth. It's not perfect, but it's going to look great when it's done. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tack these. See this one here, where this one dives down, it's much lower. It took a long time to cut all these pieces on the saw. Sometimes people say, why don't you use your saw for everything? And there's a lot of good reasons for not using the saw. And one of them is that it takes a lot longer and a lot more labor. It's a lot more difficult. The saw is just plain good for the saw is good for doing really fine work that you can't do with a normal hand cutter. But once you start relying on the tools that aren't meant for that, then you're kind of stuck in it. You see how I have to drag that away? And I just kind of pull it up and hope that it solidifies fast enough. See how it's drooping down right there? To kind of drag that away from there. And there we go. And see it drips down, so I have to drag it. One of the things I try to do as I solder is that I try to make it look good at the time that I solder. I don't say, oh, I'll just do that and then I'll come back later. I want to make it look good right now. If I have to come back later, that's okay. See how that rolls down inside there between the two. Now it just kind of fills up. And what kind of patina is going to go on this, Jeannie?
I think black.
Okay. And it does use a lot of solder, this technique here, because you're not just going across from one piece to another, you're filling in a whole huge area. But I think that right there looks pretty good. I do have to lean over to see what's happening on this side, and I get over here and my eyes get hot.
That means you're too close. It's looking really cool though.
It's really funny though, it doesn't flow as good as it usually does because I will get such a huge amount of solder that I'm manipulating all at once, and so it'll kind of cool the iron down.
Wow.
Okay, we've got it all soldered on this side. Now, I don't think I'm going to have to solder the other side because this design has all kinds of waviness in it, so it should lock up. Now, there's a reason for not wanting to solder the back, and that is because the mirror, the backing of the mirror is right here on the back. Now, if I solder to this, very often flux gets underneath here and will corrode the mirror. So that's the reason that we don't want to do any solder on the back if I don't have to. And look, you can tell it's nice and sturdy. There is going to be a wooden frame around this, and so...
Is it heavy?
Well, I guess it's heavy. It took 5 pounds of solder and I only soldered one side. So yeah, now I'm going to set it over and I'm going to let Jeannie clean it and patina it. We'll take another picture of it just before we're done. If you liked this video, that's great. I'm glad that we're doing something right. I don't think you'll have an opportunity to do this much uneven soldering. You know, if you put a rock in a window or something of that nature, then you'll probably have a chance. It looks like there's a spot right here that I haven't soldered. It's interesting because as you solder, there are times where you can't see maybe I should plug it back in.
Okay. Do you want to wrap up?
And we'll just come back to it when it's... Okay, well here it is, cleaned off and with a nice black patina on it. Now one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the places where the glass is high, the foil is very weak. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem later on or not. But we're going to just go right ahead and finish this baby up and get it in a frame and hope the client's happy. Thanks for being with us. See you next time.